Hey, this is Pete Saronis, and I am excited to talk with the wonderful Samara Schulman, president of On Point Consulting. Great to hear you, Samara.
Right back at you. I love these conversations.
Talking to you is always a joy and it's insightful. I have a little bit of a cough today, but that's a segue into it's been 4 years since COVID. And I was thinking maybe we can talk about not only the world it's changing, but the fact that this kind of conversation and what we talk about, leveraging remote compute, is something that is a part of our lives, and it has benefits. It has what some people call a disadvantage of not having that connection, but I tend to say it's more of a silver lining. Access to people has been made a lot easier in my world, and just the fact that you and I can in a moment talk. Do you ever think about that? The 4 years since COVID?
Oh, yeah, all the time. One of my sons just got diagnosed with pink eye. I've got three little kids. Anybody who's listened to these before knows that to me, pink eye is, it comes, it goes, we move on to the next thing. But the doctor said he's going to want to stay home for 2 days. You don't want to spread it. And my first thought was, doesn't he realize kids are going to school with COVID now? We don't even know if we've got it or not. We're sending kids with the flu, with strep, with it. Nobody knows what they're sending kids with. And to me, it was so old fashioned to stay home for pink eye. Then the more I think about it, it's almost refreshing that, all right, we're back to staying home for something like that. We're back to where we were pre-COVID. And then I think about it all the time with work. On Point, we still operate on a hybrid remote in the office for our headquarters staff. For us, it works. It absolutely works well for the team. We get together, we do dinners and celebrations. And anybody who's listened to this podcast before, I'm big on celebrating the small milestones. So there's a chance to celebrate anything, we get together. We do a virtual book club. I mean, the book club, we talk about leadership books and whatnot for a little while, and it brings out a lot of just socializing with all of us, learning more and more about each other. These are things that, yes, might have happened if we were all in the office each day together, but I think COVID had an underlying effect on all of the changes that we see now. So even for those who are back in the office full time, I'd wager to say that if they need to leave early for a doctor's appointment, it's a lot easier now to ask to leave earlier. Or if they need to work from home for one day because of X, Y, and Z, I think it's probably a lot less stressful to be able to do that. And your schedule doesn't go out the window. It's not like you're unreachable or anything like that, because we've all learned how to make ourselves so darn reachable. And we could do a whole different segment on that. But in terms, even circling back to just On Point's headquarters and just using us as a micro example, I think it's also now, again, 4 years later, and just the horrendous outcome of COVID. I'm not minimizing that, but I do think a lot of how we're operating these days, there's an underlying element of what is left over from COVID. We learned how to do that work-life balance. We learned how to be more empathetic, sympathetic with others in other situations and whatnot. And I think that is the positive baggage that each of us kind of carries now that we're on this side of COVID. I think we've got happier teams. We've got more motivated teams because there is this underlying understanding out there now.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm thinking as you're talking, I love the fact that you are creating those human connections with your teams. And I see them. I think it's amazing. And I bet it seems like it's even, can I say, more special? It's unique when we could get together. Now it's like you want to, and you want to appreciate those moments, but also address the fact that we have lives. Look, you made my day on this topic. I mean, I think about it a lot. And I think we should tackle the work-life balance and how that's helping in terms of communication with teams like On Point. And I can even share my perspective. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about today. So this was awesome.
I hope it gets everybody else out there kind of reminiscing that, wow, that happened. That was already 4 years ago. And here's where we're at today.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we will talk again soon, Samara. Look forward to it.
Sounds good.